Right.
Okay.
Hello.
Welcome, everyone. For those of you who are joining us live, thanks for being here. And for those of you who are watching on replay, thank you for watching the replay. Know that you can go to our YouTube channel and watch all the webinars we've done for GrowthU. I'm Denise Mend. This is Paul Mend. We're leads at GrowthU. And our hope for these webinars is that you take away some concrete tools to help to achieve more, become more, do more in your life with more intention, more love for yourself, and more awareness around the patterns that get you to help you go to where you want to go and achieve what you want to achieve. So today, we are talking about the half a second between reacting and responding.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to wait till the very end to find out what that means. We're going to talk about emotions first.
Absolutely.
So,
And before we get started, just Denise, besides being a lead at GrowthU, is a physical therapist, physiotherapist here in Canada, and played basketball at a high level at university, mom, athlete, master's athlete, does all sorts of fun sports activities. And I was a psychology teacher at the high school level, taught for 30 years and coached for over 40. So a little background of us. And if you don't know us, you have a little bit more knowledge now. We live in British Columbia, Canada.
we do.
In Naramata.
We do.
So let's talk about the 6 basic emotional needs.
I'm going to enter full screen here.
All right.
There we go.
And these 6 basic emotional needs were founded by Maxwell Maltz in the 1950s. He wrote a book, and there's more than these as well, but these are the 6 basic ones. So 2 that you get to sort of control are growth and self-esteem, and the other ones that are just like they're there is significance, connection, certainty, and variety. And we can speak to those a little bit in the sense that we need these 6 basic emotional needs. It's kind of like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where food, shelter, water, safety at the bottom. Unless those needs are being met, it's kind of hard to move up a hierarchical pyramid to get to that self-discovery at the very top. So that's the basic premise of it. And do you want to go deeper into any of the categories?
Well, and I think we can talk about that. These are unconscious, right?
They run below the surface.
Yeah, and so our emotional needs are getting met one way or another, and mostly in an unconscious way. And so the reason we start with this is that in today's world, so many of us are being driven around by our emotions. So this is what I was talking about in the email that I sent out is, do you want to be put back in the driver's seat instead of your emotions driving you around? Who here, if there's anybody here live watching with us, can put up your hand, has, said something that you regretted, or blew up in frustration at your kids, or got cut off in traffic and started, saying things that you don't want anybody else to hear, right? We've all been there. We have all had our emotions get the better of us, right? And what if you had tools that helped you to get back in the driver's seat and recognize when your emotions are trying to lead, and you can decide how you respond in the moment. So give us a story, because you've got a few good driving stories.
What are you saying?
that are good examples of maybe what you would like and what you wouldn't like.
I would preface this by the fact that maybe I played pole position, the old arcade game, one too many times, and it became a habit or a pattern of wanting to be first in line, getting somewhere sooner than later, not having to do the drive in between, and not necessarily enjoying the drive. So those are things that I work on a daily basis when somebody's going below the speed limit in front of me, or they're slowing down because they have no idea where they are, and I'm in a hurry to get somewhere, right? So
what emotional need do you think is driving that behavior?
that is a good question. I would say it's probably looking at all of them, maybe certainty.
Yeah.
I think certainty would be the key.
Yeah.
key
I
one.
want to get to where I want to get in
Now.
a certain amount of time.
And the bigger rush that I'm in, the more frustrated I become with the person in front of me. So one of the proactive ways I can deal with that is leaving 10 minutes early to get to where I need to be so that I'm not rushed. That's the easiest way to get through it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So knowing that, maybe we want to feel a certain way in a situation, right? So for example, if I'm in traffic and I get cut off and I get really angry, right? My emotions are leading the way. How do I change that in the moment? And this gets to reacting, which is when our emotions are driving the bus and making us feel things, right? Our emotions, our unconscious brain is what makes us feel and think and behave, right? All of these patterns that we have are driven by our unconscious mind. So how can I, in the moment, choose something different, Paul?
So the easiest way to do it is to pause for a second and ask yourself, where are these emotions coming from? Am I hungry? Am I thirsty? Am I tired? Am I late? Right? And recognize why that emotion's coming. And I think that's the biggest key, is to understand what the emotion is that you're feeling, because we all have them. That's the way this little thing works, right?
It's not so little.
Usually it's about an average of 3 pounds, about the size of your fist. Actually, if you put your hands together like that, that's about the size of your brain, right? And then that little gap in between is your corpus callosum, which runs down your midline, your left hemisphere, your right hemisphere, and so on. And so this thing is running cybernetically. It's automated, it's automatic. And those emotions, when something happens, our brain relates back to a previous experience that's happened before, and it'll drive that emotion. And so it's really important to step back for a second, be the neutral observer for 0.5 seconds, that's all it takes, and go, where's that coming from? And am I hungry? Am I thirsty? Am I tired? Physiological need, feed yourself, drink some water, right? Step back and go, okay, that's because I'm grumpy because I haven't eaten recently, whatever that looks like. And if it's an emotional piece from a past relationship or something that happened in your younger years that is still running the show, step back and ask yourself, is this serving me right now by swearing at the top of my lungs at the person in front of me? Or can I take a different viewpoint and go, I wonder what that person's doing right now. I wonder if they're in a hurry to get to the hospital because somebody is sick or injured in their family, or are they going slow because they're lost and they don't know where they are? And really putting yourself in the perception of maybe what the other person's going through, and take yourself out of yourself and put yourself in their spot. And sometimes that can help de-escalate the emotion that you're feeling. And then you have the moment of responding and being in control versus reacting out of control.
So you said it's about a second or a half a second?
Half a second is all it takes, just a pause. It's just a pause. It's like okay, wait a minute.
Second.
Where's that coming from? And it sounds easy to do, but it's hard to do when we've been reacting all the time. And think about people in your lives that are reactors. And so if we've grown up in a family where people react to situations, we've been trained that way. That's in our toolbox. That's what we do because that's what we've seen. That's what we've been.
That's what we've
learned. Right. Yeah. And ultimately, it's all it is learned patterns and habits.
And here we know at Growth U that we can change that. So if I want to be different in that situation, I can choose to respond.
What was that C word you just said?
Choose.
Your greatest superpower.
Yeah.
The power to choose.
Yeah.
Choice.
So I can choose to respond without judgment and with empathy to myself and to the other person. And I can change the meaning of the story, because often when we're reacting, we may not even know, we're just making up a story that that person that cut me off in traffic was inconsiderate or
And did it
intentionally, or was a jerk, and there might be and often there is a completely different story. And so if I choose to respond to that situation with empathy and without judgment to the other person and myself, then I feel much different, and I get to choose how I feel in the moment.
Yeah, and stress, right,
Yes.
is related to emotions. Your stress level goes down, and it sounds really easy when we talk about it.
Yeah,
but it's
it's
not
a practice.
easy.
It's a practice.
It is a practice, because we know this, and
we still react because we're human. We're human.
'Cause that's the way this thing works.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
being able to recognize when it's happening and go, oh, I just reacted
Yeah.
and I need to respond. That's when you're winning, right? When you can actually, it may happen after the point where you react and then you go, oh, I should have responded in that situation. Now you're consciously thinking of it. Your reticular activating system is now turned on to, I should respond to most situations versus react. And when your brain focuses on that, you do it more often and it becomes the norm and the habit, and you react less because you're pausing for that 0.5 seconds.
And how good would it feel if, as we go through life, we get to choose how we feel in the moment, in situations, right? Instead of feeling like we're being pulled around by all of the circumstances swirling around us, that, oh, he made me feel this way, or she made me feel really angry,
Nobody makes you feel.
He made me feel so stupid in the moment. Well, guess what? If I respond instead of react, I get to choose how I feel in the moment, right? And so instead of saying, oh, you made me feel so angry, well, no, I made myself angry. Why did I make myself feel angry? What's going on with me today? Or, no, you didn't even make me feel angry. I get to decide or ask you questions like, how are you today? What's going on with you, right? And getting curious about it instead of feeling like I'm being attacked or threatened.
Because that's their story.
Yes,
it's not yours.
It's not my story. Yeah,
you get to write your story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so if you want to know more about how to learn, how to condition, get these habits so that they serve who you want to be in the moment, then join us at Growth U. Start with daily growth.
Free daily growth.
Yes. And know that you can contact us for a growth planning session. And
your own GPS.
You can look through the catalog of programs and choose one that works for you to become who you want to be in the moment. Yeah. Anything else, Paul?
Well, I think, one of the things that I like to finish with is change is inevitable. Growth is intentional.
Yeah.
And so choose growth.
Yes.
Right? And choose, something that's going to help you achieve whatever vision that you have for yourself, whatever goal that you have for yourself, and really just work on creating that vision and then figuring out how that's going to happen. And we can support you here.
Yeah. So to sum up, remember that the difference between reacting and responding is a half a second. So if you pause, as Paul said, and think about,
observe,
what do I want to be in this moment? Who do I want to be in this moment? How do I want to feel in this moment? And react with empathy and without judgment. We'd love to hear your comments about how that goes. Love to you all. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching the recording. And we'd love to hear from you.
See you soon.
Bye.